Welcome to JHL Cinema Clash. In today's episode, we will be debating what makes Professor X, Wolverine, Cyclops so important to the X-Men. Harold's going to kick us off with a couple of questions.
Let's get it, boys. Could the X-Men function properly without one of these three? Or do you think they'd run smoothly anyway?
Nope, they would not. I even think the X-Men would not exist without them three. That's how important they are.
Well, Professor X especially, because, you know, he founded the whole shit. You can't... And then you have Cyclops was his first student, not like the movies where he had Beast walking around with him. That's kind of not how it ran. It was Cyclops being his first actual student. And then Wolverine was the fucking franchise, if you want to say it like that. Let's be honest.
Really what made it. I think Wolverine is what brought that level of action that made everybody want to tune into to the X-Men. I mean, the fights between him and Hulk, iconic. I mean,
for sure. He was ruthless too. Something that and they give Deadpool shit for killing people, but that motherfucker Logan Wolverine would kill everybody in his path. That motherfucker, and then he'd be like, "Hey, I'm a good guy though, Poppy. It don't count for me."
So what's crazy about that? Wolverine was never created for the X-Men. He was actually created to kill the Hawk. He was supposed to be the Hawk's biggest enemy. So they were like, now what we do with this
Weapon
guy?
X.
Yep, and that's when they threw him with the X-Men.
Which was clever.
Here's the fun fact about that too. Everybody thinks that Weapon X means that he was the first one that what's his name? Stryker?
I think so.
Kind of tested on and experimented on, but it's not. He's actually the 10th one. There's previous ones before him, but he was the only one to get like the animatium or whatever the fuck that shit's called. I forgot what it's.
I think it's something like animatium.
Yeah, animatium. You know what I meant.
He said aluminum. Fuck it.
Aluminum foil.
Some shit like that.
You know what?
Well, because they put that animatium thing, whatever the fuck y'all was trying to say. Now y'all fucked me up with it. Because they put that into his body, he didn't continue to morph more into a beast that he was supposed to. It like paused him. And if not pause like that type, wait a minute. But pause. Pause.
And then they put it in him, this whole conversation got weird.
Yeah, to the left. But if they never did that creation to him or whatever the fuck they did, he would have had more powers and his instinct would be way more on point. That's why Sabretooth always has the edge on him. But obviously Wolverine always whips his ass in the end. But that's why he looks more like a monster and a beast towards Wolverine.
Yeah, for sure. So now that we're talking more about Wolverine, do you think that the X-Men franchise would be as successful movie-wise, right? Because comic-wise, it's successful with all their characters, to be honest. But movie-wise, do you think the X-Men franchise would be successful without Wolverine?
Well, movie-wise, not really. Wolverine put them on the spotlight, for sure. And it's just because he's such an iconic name. He's a 5'3" that he's 7 foot tall when the lights are on him. So I think having him as your main character put the X-Men's movies up there, for sure.
He's 6'2" when Hugh Jackman plays him.
This is how you know that without him, the X-Men wouldn't have been successful. That they went away from making X-Men movies just to make Wolverine movies by himself because he was so iconic in those movies, right? Everybody loved Wolverine. And some of the things that Laz used to say, and still, if you was to ask a non-comic reader, right? You was to ask him, hey, name me a superhero. It would be Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and Wolverine would be in that conversation just because of those movies. That's how iconic that guy is.
So much so that even some of the X-Men movies seemed a lot like Wolverine movies. Because
for sure.
I mean, he stole the show and just it seemed like the story was built around him more than it was any other character.
And to Laz's point on our previous video, there was a lot of people that didn't know about the comics or X-Men a lot that they confused Wolverine for X-Men last set.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh, that's X-Men." Like, no, that's not X-Men. That's Wolverine. To Laz's point, and I guess they moved away from the movies a little bit. The X-Men movies is because his time frame is all over the place. So I guess they have more wiggle room to play his movies because he has a lot of banger movies
He
too.
goes back.
Yeah,
Like if they wanted to, they could make a movie of Wolverine in the 1920s, bro.
Mhm.
So
Because
talking about that, I remember this was when I was young. Obviously, it never came out, but I remember that they were gonna do. It was rumored, right? This doesn't mean that this was. Obviously, it didn't come out, but they had rumored that Wolverine. They were gonna do a movie with Wolverine and Captain America in the 50s, when Captain America was first an Avenger. Because remember, he fought in those wars, which I thought would have been dope as fuck because imagine them now, right? When they introduced the X-Men and Captain Rogers saying, "Yo, I remember you. You fought in the
that
33rd
would
with me."
be crazy.
That
That'd
shit
be
would have
crazy.
been dope. That shit would have
Hell
been
yeah.
fire. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie to you. That crossover would have been dope, you know? And but it never came to fruition, so we'll see how they introduce the X-Men into the Marvel universe, because Marvel tried to do the same thing that they did with Sony, where they borrow Spider-Man and you know, with Fox, and Fox was like, "Nah, we're not giving up the X-Men." So they ended up just buying Fox in total and said, "You know what? Fuck you guys. We're gonna just buy the whole shit because we're gonna take over the X-Men." I think that's why they're gonna do this next phase is all gonna be X-Men, because you know they spent like $4 billion. Might
You
as
better
well
get your
use the
money's
characters.
worth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
But which is great because I feel like the X-Men have so many stories they can tell with all
So
these
many.
different mutants, and they all, if you look at them by all their different categories, they all have something, special and badass about them. That movies with them alone can even, or not even movies, like episodes or shows talking about a certain mutant will be cool too, because they can even have one of Nightcrawler, Gibberline, Gambit, have all little stories about them, and people could actually like fall in love with them like they did with Wolverine.
I think they could also pick up where they left off with these series like Daredevil and Punisher, and do that with some of the characters that you wouldn't dedicate a movie to. You know, do a live action that, and I guarantee you, bro, you take someone like, I wouldn't even say Gambit, because Gambit now is, thanks to what's his name,
Channing
uh
Tatum.
Channing Tatum. I mean, he has brought Gambit back into the spotlight, so much so that I see a lot of people becoming Gambit fans, and mentioning that iconic scene where, you couldn't even understand what the hell he was saying. But it was so dope, man. I think that with someone like him, you probably wouldn't see a show, but you could definitely see it with some of the other characters like Mystique, maybe even Nightcrawler. I like Nightcrawler, bro. I'm a big fan of his. I think he
I do
would be
too.
a good candidate for a TV show on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
So
I agree with you.
my whole thing is, remember, Wolverine kind of is so iconic right now, but and no offense to Hugh Jackman, but I think it's time for him to like pass down the mantle. I think we need a new, like, with this reboot that they're gonna do in the Avengers and all that.
The
I say we
Calvary.
need a new, we need a younger Wolverine, right, where he can carry the mantle. Now, who could that be? Not sure.
It's so hard.
There's a
Who
lot of
knows
people
though?
that could play.
Look at what they did with in Deadpool. I mean, for all we know, that could be a them telling us something, like who they, they probably were testing to see how he was going to do with the crowd, and putting Henry Cavill as a version of X-Men just
Which
to
would be
see,
dope.
right?
He looked dope.
He did.
Jay's put the face,
He
but
did.
I'm not gonna lie.
He
When he
did,
had that
bro.
cigar, half that shit was like this big, and his lip, that shit was dope as fuck.
Yeah.
I need that short one, the one that jumped off the stool.
I agree
Remind
on
me of
something.
myself right there.
I agree with something. I think we need a more comic book accurate Wolverine, a more vicious Wolverine, a Wolverine that fits the
Description.
physicality of the comics. Maybe he doesn't have to be 5'2", but I feel like Hugh
5'6".
Jackman is too tall. I mean, he's 6'2" or 6'1", something like that. And even
So
Henry Cavill is pretty tall.
So I guess they're a little scared about making him too short because then he's gonna be a joke. You understand what I mean?
Under 6 foot.
I feel like the height doesn't really matter. To me, is making him more young. Because let's be honest, how many more movies can we get out of Hugh Jackman? I know he's only 50 something, but
You just wanted to Robin Hood.
yeah, he's about to be 60. He's gonna be what, the old man Logan, right? That's not what we're looking for. We're trying to see.
Yeah.
When we look at the X-Men, right? We love Storm, Jean Grey, but let's be honest, everybody's looking for either Professor X, how dope he looks. Is he in that wheelchair? Is he in that new futuristic wheelchair? Is Cyclops in it? Is all those characters, the main three of X-Men. That's who you really want to see. So my whole thing is, I don't want to see another Logan. I don't want to see Wolverine die at the end. I want to see Wolverine fucking gutting people with his claws into the stomach, into the chest, like the vicious him. Yeah, he played a great part in Deadpool and Wolverine. I give it to him, but how many more movies do we have like that? You know what I mean? Before he starts looking old again.
Yeah. I agree with you, Heido. I agree with you, but they have to be careful who they cast because he's a big name. He's a really, really big name, and they can't just throw anybody there. They have to make sure who they're putting in that position.
True. But with that said, like, I would like to see a more holistic X-Men, right? Like, X-Men wasn't just revolved around Wolverine. It was the whole group. Like, it's where you got to fall in love with characters like Storm and Jean Grey, where you saw their powers and you was like, man, that shit is crazy. Iceman, which is a low tier character, right? But it was dope to see him in like the comic books and the cartoon. Those kind of characters, I would like to see those kind of the way the Avengers came about, right? Nobody knew about Doctor Strange. I mentioned this in our previous episodes. If you haven't watched, go ahead and catch up to our episodes. But like Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch, a lot of people didn't know about those people, but they brought them to light. They brought new characters to light. And the X-Men aren't only those 5 heroes, I would like to see more of those heroes, like Polaris, which is another daughter of Magneto. She's dope as fuck too. Like, I like to see her. She's an X-Men. You know what I mean? I like to see more different characters than the ones that we've been getting recently, Well, with that being said, right, that I want new characters. If you guys had to build a new X-Men, right, a new X-Men universe, would you guys keep the same 3, right? Or would you guys try to build that universe with somebody different?
Well, you mean like someone different as different heroes?
Another X-Men. Yeah, different X-Men. Because remember, it's not only the main 3. Obviously, we're talking about Cyclops, X-Men, Professor X, and Wolverine.
Yeah.
But there's characters like Storm and Nightcrawler and Bishop, and you can go down the list of how many X-Men actually went into X-Men, either left them or stayed with them. If you were to build that universe, right, would you keep those same characters and kind of push them forward, or would you like to see somebody different like Nightcrawler, not being the head, but kind of building around that character?
You or me, Jay?
You can go.
Yeah, I feel like you.
I would say I would probably put Storm in charge, to have her help build the next version of the X-Men. I would also have Nightcrawler kind of as her Beast, how Beast was for Professor X. And I don't know, maybe want to see I'd probably like to see Rogue in place of Jean. I mean, that would be my three. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they would do a pretty good job at building the next X-Men.
Well, I could kind of agree with you because if I'm not mistaken, when Cyclops walked away, who took ownership and leadership of the team was Storm.
She tried, at
So
least.
yeah, well, she tried, but I could see Storm. I think I would leave Beast and to take Wolverine's spot X-23.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
have her in his position because it still has that rage and that I'll do whatever it takes to get us out of this shit. You
Yeah, you
understand?
definitely need somebody with resilience like
Well, yeah,
that for
and
sure.
he mentored her, so why not pick her?
Yeah, and I'm guessing she's coming back because she did come out in X-23, and if you look, who came out the void was Gambit, her, and then just Deadpool, Wolverine, and Deadpool's crew. So it'd be interesting to see if they're gonna be part of the Doomsday or if they're not. It'd be dope to see.
I want to say something. I love Blade. I'm a big fan of Blade, but I couldn't help but see 60-plus-year-old Wesley Snipe, man. They gotta let him go. We really need them to go ahead and just introduce this guy, whatever the hell his name is, that was supposed to play
I know who you're
Blade.
talking about.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
I
Yeah,
do
don't
a
yeah,
know
but
the
look
name.
him up,
fantastic job,
up
bro.
so we can get him his proper
Yeah,
name,
yeah.
Les. Yeah,
Let
look
me
him up real quick. Yeah, look him up. That way we can cut all this part up, and you can actually transition. That way we're not saying, yeah, you know that guy, the guy with the guy with the bald head.
Go ahead.
he's a really, really good actor too.
And just so you know that I didn't know, did you know that he was he played D1 basketball? Did you guys know? I didn't know this. I found this out recently. Not only did he play D1 basketball, but Saint Clarita High School was gonna or college was gonna recruit him, and he turned it down, which that spot they ended up giving it to Steve Nash.
Hit up.
But there was the only scholarship available, and he turned it down, and Steve Nash got it. If not, Steve Nash wouldn't have gone to the
Exist.
NBA. Yeah, literally. I
That's
thought it was
crazy.
dope.
They need to go ahead and introduce this guy Ali, Marshala Ali, however you pronounce his first name. I think
Yeah.
he'll be a fantastic Blade, man. I mean, he is fit for the role. I don't know what happened because apparently this was pretty much set in stone. It was gonna happen, and then everything just went downhill. I don't know if it was because of what was happening with Moon Knight or whatever happened there, but
Here's the funny thing about that. With Moon Knight, I feel like it would have been a great like horror side to Marvel. I'm not sure if that's why they kind of cut that out because Disney don't really fuck with horror like that. But I thought with Blade, with the vampires and Dracula, and then you could have even transitioned that with Apocalypse from
yeah.
X-Men and transition X-Men with them. Um, I don't know if they didn't see the vision, but I could see it. You do a season 2 of Moon Knight, Blade movie 1, and then put both of them that they see each other with Dracula, and then Dracula ends up fighting with Apocalypse, and then you start seeing X-Men, so on and so forth. It would have been a good transition to bring all the X-Men in with that.
Yeah, I agree. And how about your three, Jairo? You want to give us your three?
So to be honest, to me, Storm is a great pick, right? She, to your guys' point, she tried to run the X-Men after Cyclops walked away, but I would still like to see Cyclops in the movies per se because I feel like Wolverine, he outshined so many characters that he didn't get the recognition as the leader that he is. He's like the X-Men's Captain America, right? Where he's the guy that makes the plans, makes the decisions, makes the hard calls, and he didn't get that recognition because Wolverine's spotlight was so big, right? Jean Grey didn't get her flowers. He didn't get the flowers. Professor X, even Professor X, which Patrick Stewart played an amazing Professor X, right? He looked the part. He looked exactly like Professor X, but
Because he hasn't seen me.
but let's be honest, that's another guy that, you know, he's fucking 85 years old. He needs to go kick some rocks somewhere. Bring me a young Professor X. I like what they try to do with him and Magneto, because I don't remember the young Magneto's name, but that guy played an amazing part as Magneto.
He did.
I mean,
He did play a good
amazing. I enjoyed him as Magneto. I would love to see him back, but off the cuts that we've seen, it's only that Magneto that's an older Magneto and the older Professor X. Hopefully it's because they're gonna give him a farewell in this Doomsday and kind of bring out where another universe comes in, the younger versions of those characters, you know. I would love to see a different Professor X. Even that Professor X, that the younger Professor X, whoever played that played a good part too.
He's
and
a
like
good
I
actor.
said, a different Wolverine, man. Get all these old guys out of there. Let's bring out, if we're gonna reboot this, let's reboot it right. Let's bring out a dope ass Wolverine. I still want Wolverine to outshine, because let's be honest, everybody was a fan of Wolverine. I want that still, but I want a new Wolverine, somebody new. I want a dope Cyclops, not guys that are mediocre, you know. And let's introduce guys like Havoc, which is Cyclops' brother, that shoots out his chest. That shit was dope too.
Which they did have him in that same, I believe it was that same movie you're referring to, where they're teaching him in the basement how to control and focus that beam. But funny enough, the guy's name is Michael Fassbender.
Yeah. That's Magneto, right?
That's Magneto.
Yeah.
I think they should bring him back, to be honest with you.
For sure. He played an amazing Magneto.
What I don't like, and I don't hope actually happens, is that they refresh some characters and some they don't, because it's not going to make sense. I hate when they do this shit. They did this with Iron Man when they got rid of, which I'm gonna be honest, Don Cheadle. Don Cheadle should have been, he should have been playing that character from the beginning. But when they replaced him to then put him, it just creates that confusion, and it's kind of hard to.
Who the hell is he?
It ruins it. It ruins it, man.
Well, right now, whoever plays Cyclops, right now he's on an uphill. He's everywhere right now. I hope they push the shit out of him, like they're gonna end up doing for Wolverine, because he needs that push. And like I said, he's a good leader, a good hero. You still need that good guy. You need like to Hyro's point. To Hyro's point, he needs to be that Captain America for the X-Men that everybody loves, because he's the good guy. He doesn't want to really hurt people. He's looking for a way how to do everything calmly. I'll kick your ass, but I don't want to rip your head off. So we need that. We already got Wolverine that he will rip your head off. We have Professor X that, yes, he's the brains and all this, but we need Cyclops, like we were saying, to be the Captain America and be like, I'm that hero. You could depend on me. So,
although,
to you guys' point,
from that trailer I seen, it seems like a scene where he is suffering from like some serious emotional pain. And
well, you see the Sentinel walking behind him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's anything like, if that's anything like what happened in X-Men 97, right? When the Sentinels came in and just wreaked havoc and killed countless amount of people. Man, I gotta tell you, the way Gambit went in there with that motorcycle and turned that bitch into a missile made me a huge fan of Gambit, boy.
Is that you sleep on Gambit? I told you.
I like him.
He's dope.
What? Say it again. I like him.
I like him a lot.
I'm not gonna hold you. He's that what Louisiana accent that he got going on from the Bayou.
Yeah,
that shit is fire too. I think that shit is dope. That he's repping Louisiana and you can barely understand him half the time. And he's a gambler because
I'm about to make a name for myself.
I shot out my daddy's dick or some shit.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, that shit is fire. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, man. And I got to tell you, Channing Tatum is, I could have never imagined in a million years him playing
Agreed.
Gambit. But what I do appreciate is that they chose the right version of Gambit for him to play. It wasn't, like the other Gambit that we had, which the guy was good. He really was. I thought he did a good job. But he was good as that version of Gambit. I can't see him playing this version of Gambit that Channing Tatum is playing. I don't see it.
It wouldn't fit him.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that the X-Men are going to be introduced? Obviously, they're going to be in Doomsday, right? But do you think that they're going to come out after watching that little clip that you guys seen on the comic books? Do you think that they're going to be coming out on Brand New Day, Spider-Man Brand New Day, where he goes to Professor X to see if he can help him with the mutation that he's going through? Because that would be dope. A great introduction to like the X-Men, right? Where he goes to them, hey, can you help me with this mutation? He's like, bro, I can help you control it, but besides that, you're gonna mutate how it is. There's just what it is.
I think that'll be the best way to introduce them into this whole situation, so that we can then bring them into Doomsday, because it fits with the comics and that version of the story where he's mutating and he's got his cells are deteriorating or whatever due to the radiation. But who knows? It seems like the focus here is going to be the 27 villains that are coming out in Brand New Day.
That is true. They're definitely bringing out a bunch. But to the title of this episode, I don't see the X-Men without the main three. Like, I don't see him without Cyclops. I don't see him without Professor X, and I don't see him without Wolverine. Wolverine, especially being like the main guy, he's always been that guy, right? And the dope thing about the X-Men, that rivalry of him and Cyclops, it has to remain. To me, that was one of the dopest things in the cartoon and even in the comics. It was like, man, we trying to smash the same girl.
Same girl.
Yeah, fuck
same
you, bro.
Girl.
It was fuck you, but it's only I can say fuck. Yeah, I can say fuck you to you. If somebody fucking with you out there, you call me, we gonna fuck them up together. I got another question for you guys. With us bringing up the main three, do you think that Professor X's friendship with Magneto either hurt or helped the X-Men, right? Because at one point you felt like, damn, they're boys, we're gonna figure this shit out, and then you see at one point where Magneto's like, man, fuck these humans. I'm going straight killer mode to this.
I think it helps, right? And the reason I say that is because you see the level of respect that he has for Professor X. Imagine if he wasn't tamed just a little bit by the love and respect that he has for his old friend.
That's true.
He'll destroy the human race. So I think that it's certainly, it'd be bad if he wasn't.
You're right. I didn't think about it like that. It's true where Professor X kind of calms him down. It's like yin and yang almost, right? Where Professor X just wants to, let's be peaceful all together, and my boy Magneto's like, man, fuck the humans. They're not strong like us. Let's go kill every last one of them. Let's shut shit down. Which I'm gonna be honest, he was right, because at the end, the Sentinels start taking over, killing
that midget
mutants.
Created the Sentinels. How that small ass motherfucker created those big ass Sentinels?
Probably that he had the what's that shit called? The Napoleon syndrome,
Yeah, he did.
A short man syndrome. With that being said, Laz, I got another question for you with Professor X, right? Do you think that Professor X's dream about having a peaceful coexistence can ever exist in the comics or even in the movies?
Hell, it doesn't exist nowadays.
I mean, you're right on that one. You're definitely right on that one.
I think that with time, as humanity sees all these battles and the countless amount of times that the X-Men has risked their lives to save humanity. I mean, at some point in time, they got to be given the respect that they're owed. Like Krakoa, whatever the hell you call that damn city that they gave them to run on their own, right? That was a part of humanity starting to accept the mutants and say, okay, you know what? They're almost like their own country and they need to govern themselves, but we need to put whoever's going to govern them in place. And in the case of the X-Men 97, it turned out to be Magneto. But I think at some point we will see that. Yeah. If that answered your question.
So with that being said, right, are you guys excited for the season 2 of X-Men 97?
Well, I am for sure. I know it's gonna be good, and they're gonna piggyback right from the movie that's gonna come out, so they're not gonna miss. And they're going with comic based and shit like that, so it's hard to see them miss when it's comic based.
Well, I'm excited to see Apocalypse. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yes.
After watching the trailer and Apocalypse coming out, man, I'm super excited and super stoked as him being the big bad. I know Magneto's gonna be on their side. I want to see what heroes actually go with Apocalypse, because you know Apocalypse preaches, hey, fuck the humans. We're the gods. They're not gods. And he kind of gets some of the heroes to be like, you know what, you're right. We are
doesn't like I don't know his name, Angel?
Archangel?
Archangel goes, who's that other one that Psylocke?
Psylocke.
Yeah, she ends up probably going. Storm was actually almost with him, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. In the movie, she was for sure. And some of them, remember, he also in the movie he got a young, Storm, where it was before she joined the X-Men, where she was doing her own thing. Something that I thought was dope to see, right? And we spoke about this in one of these episodes, where Oscar Isaac plays Apocalypse in the movie, and he also plays Moon Knight. I thought he did a pretty good job. I thought the outfit itself was kind of weird, the Apocalypse outfit. I like to see him in a more traditional Apocalypse outfit. That would be dope. I see that not the comics, the actual series, the X-Men 97, the season 2, he looks accurate as fuck. So I'm super stoked, like I said, for that season 2. I'm definitely catching it day one as soon as it drops.
He looks badass, but I agree with you that when the way they presented him, it was the comic book version, and he looked tough. Which, saying that, I believe that certain, you could say, movies or the X-Men, I hope they go accurate with the costumes for these guys, for the outfits, because that one of those X-Men movies, they had them all in trash bags. And that shit was crazy.
Which is crazy. Yeah. I agree with that. Not only that,
worst costumes ever in history, bro.
Yep.
Yeah. Those trash bags with an X on the chest.
Yep. They made
and
sure
it was
to
a
fuck
long
them up.
ass X. Yeah.
Can't remember any version of X-Men cartoons or comics where they come out with that. That seems like some sort of director creative
decision
choice, because that shit was horrible, bro. That doesn't seem X-Men accurate at all. I might be wrong, but
no. So I don't remember ever seeing any of those costumes, especially that black trash bag that they had going on for real. But something that I hope happens, right? That the CGI again becomes great again. I feel like the last few movies from the MCU, I feel like the CGI were just off and bad, right?
They were doing too much.
Well, here's the crazy thing. I know you guys said y'all were gonna watch The Last Airbender. Brother, their CGI in that shit, Jay, that shit is fire as fuck. I'm talking about even when they're moving the rocks and the air bending and the water bending. Man, you can do that. You can do so much with the X-Men, especially with their powers, like a badass character like Storm. I fucking lost my train of thought. A badass character like Storm, bro, and her feats and her powers, right, being displayed properly, and
Yeah.
the Phoenix, because Wolverine, let's be honest, is claws. Like,
Yeah,
it'd be
just a
dope
claw.
to, but I want to see Cyclops. Even though off the trailer with that beam that Cyclops shoots, that should look badass as
Yeah,
fuck. That
se
should
ve
look
cabrón.
dope. Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And the Sentinel walking behind them also looks dope. I don't
Mhm.
know who's been doing the CGI lately, but I feel like it's a miss. Even on the Punisher show that we watched, or whatever that was, that one hit, they missed. They forgot to finish editing it, which is crazy. How you forget?
Yeah.
Not only did you forget, I'm sure people vetted it and watched it and said, "Nah, we're good." Crazy.
I don't know what happened
Crazy.
there. It's almost like they had 20 grand left and said, "Yo, do we finish this shit right here? It's gonna cost us about 20 grand, or do we take that and add it into the promo?"
Literally,
Which is crazy.
bro.
They
It's a
should have
promo.
not. They should have not done nothing like that, especially knowing that
Not with
everybody's
that
gonna
character.
watch it. Yeah,
It disappointed me.
Everybody's expecting it to see it, and you can't leave details like that out. It's like them fucking up this new Spider-Man movie that's coming out. They know they can't mess with this. They can't.
Yeah.
They cannot, because this is getting pushed so it's big. And whoa, pause. Not like that big. That just sounds so wrong.
What do you mean by
But
that?
yeah.
What do you
but
mean
you
by
know but you know what I mean. Like you have to be
I
sure.
don't. Gotcha.
Talking about the movie, guys. Like, it's something that you can't fuck up. And when it's coming out to movies like this, and when they present the X-Men, they have to make sure it's a hit. They can't miss. These are points of movies that are gonna be presented to us, like, make us want to go see it. So let's see where they go with that.
If you guys like this kind of content, go ahead and follow, like, subscribe, and if you don't, screw.